SpaceX launched its first Starlink satellite in 2019 with the goal of providing high-speed internet to everyone on the planet. Last week, the company hit a major milestone in this ambitious goal. Starlink finally arrived at the McMurdo Station, which means the orbit-based internet service is now available in all 7 continents. In this video, we're going to look at how Starlink is revolutionizing the way we connect with each other. First up, Antarctica catches up with the rest of the world. Scientists at the McMurdo Station, Antarctica, which is at the southernmost tip of the planet, had been relying on old-school satellite internet for years. Being a key center for geology and climate study, McMurdo already had a satellite uplink through a traditional operator. However, the bad weather along with the limited bandwidth meant that the facility housing over 1,000 people only had 17 megabits per second connectivity for everyone. The bad internet service forced the Antarctica station to restrict scientists from using Netflix or video calls, with the exception of once-weekly sessions on Skype or FaceTime at a public kiosk, and that only for conversations that were absolutely necessary. That's all different now. Video chats, online gaming, streaming, and other high data rate activities are now available thanks to Starlink satellite technology. SpaceX tested one of its Starlink internet terminals at McMurdo Station in Antarctica as part of a huge initiative to put terminals at the most remote places on Earth. Starlink has a speed range of 50 to 200 megabits per second. It can withstand extreme temperatures as low as negative 22 degrees Fahrenheit. Currently, there are over 3,000 Starlink satellites in orbit, and according to its current license, SpaceX is allowed to launch at least 1,000 more. These satellites are now in low Earth orbit with the other 3,076 operational Starlink satellites, connecting people regardless of their location. Next up, how is Starlink different from other internet service providers? In comparison to a regular internet provider, SpaceX's system is entirely unique and far more effective, and all the credit goes to Starlink's space laser network, which makes it easy to connect to the most remote locations on Earth. According to the company, Starlink is the first Krypton-driven spaceship to ever fly. The Starlink internet transmits data through the vacuum of space, which is faster than through fiber optic cable, and can reach a significantly larger number of people and locations. As long as you can keep the laser pointed in the appropriate direction, space lasers are cool because they allow for fast connections between faraway spacecraft. Antarctica wasn't the first time SpaceX experimented with remote areas. SpaceX sent 46 Starlink satellites into orbit in July with the goal of making them accessible to users by 2023. These satellites will provide coverage for Alaska, northern Canada, Greenland, and the Nordic nations. 51 refurbished relay stations were launched into polar orbit by SpaceX last year from the California space base Vandenberg. Typically, Starlink satellites rely on base stations on the planet's surface to retrieve internet data. However, the projects made in flight use new internet beacons featuring satellite-to-satellite laser communication links. This saves time lost relaying data through ground stations. The fact that these satellites can navigate in space and deorbit once their useful lives are through is also a plus. Following up, has the service been affected by the increase in users? With Starlink's quick increase in users, SpaceX has manufactured 1 million Starlink terminals in the roughly 19 months since pre-orders for the satellite internet system were made available. While the service was initially only available in the United States, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, the United Kingdom, and Mexico, the company has expanded its services recently. Not only has Starlink improved access to high-speed internet in remote areas, it also has maintained internet connection in conflict-torn regions like Ukraine and, quite recently, Iran. However, it does look like quality of their service is taking a hit. A recent report published by Ookla actually showed that the download and upload speeds for Starlink are dropping across the world by up to 54%. Regardless, Musk has no plans to slow down the growth of the company. Last but not least, what future plans does SpaceX have for Starlink? More than 3,200 Starlink satellites have already been launched by SpaceX into low Earth orbit, and if everything goes according to Elon Musk's plan, Starlink will only keep on expanding. SpaceX has been given the license to launch 12,000 Starlink spacecrafts, and the corporation has asked the global regulatory body for authority to launch a further 30,000 satellites into orbit. SpaceX hopes to launch the Starlink version 2 satellites, which are far bigger and more powerful than the present version, by next year. With the launch of the new satellite, SpaceX will officially enter the cellular service market as well. According to a joint announcement from T-Mobile and SpaceX, Starlink satellites released the next year will be able to directly connect to the carrier's phones across current cellular bands. There are even rumors that the service may potentially be added for free to current T-Mobile plans. The businesses intend to offer worldwide roaming anywhere satellite coverage is available. We will be able to text, make calls, and maybe stream video even when there are no mobile towers nearby. Musk also assured us that all of this could be accomplished using the smartphones we have right now. So there's no need to worry about spending more money on a SpaceX-approved phone. Other news. First up, DART set to collide with asteroid. While Hollywood may have convinced us that the best way to get rid of an asteroid is to simply blow it up, NASA scientists are testing out a slightly different method. Planetary defense specialists actually believe that if we discover a killer asteroid, the best and safest course of action would be to simply hit it with a small spacecraft to try and nudge it out of its path. In November of 2021, NASA launched the DART spacecraft hoping to test out this theory. Since then, the spacecraft has traveled 7 million miles and is set to collide with the asteroid Dimorphos on the 26th of September at 7:14 p.m. Eastern Time. The collision will mark the successful end to NASA's double asteroid redirection test, a $3 million project. The collision should make Dimorphos' orbit of the larger asteroid, Didymos, slightly faster. A complete circuit currently takes 11 hours and 55 minutes. If the test is successful, Dimorphos's trajectory will be altered and will pass the large asteroid more frequently, possibly once every 11 hours and 45 minutes, and more quickly. Scientists hope that this test will help them take better precautions for potential risks in the future. Next up, a closer look at Jupiter's Europa. NASA's Juno spacecraft is about to get up close and personal with Jupiter's moon Europa. The spacecraft is set to do a flyby on September 29th at 5:36 a.m. ET. Europa has been a bit of a celebrity among space geeks due to its cold climate. Scientists believe that there's a salty ocean underneath the miles of thick ice, raising questions about the possibility of life-supporting conditions beneath Europa's surface. In 2016, Juno was launched into Jupiter's orbit, and in 2021, it was given a mission extension to continue researching the gas giant's rings and 3 of its largest moons. After taking a look at the moon Ganymede, it is now prepared to focus on Europa. Galileo got within 218 miles of Europa on January 3, 2000, so more than 22 years have passed since the last time a NASA spacecraft came close to the moon. The close flyby's gravitational effect will change Juno's course and shorten its orbital period from 43 to 38 days. Although Juno will be in full data collection mode, we are hoping to get outstanding images of the moon as well. The information that Juno collects on this mission will be vital for the upcoming 2024 Europa Clipper mission. Finally, NASA and ESA reach an agreement on space exploration. NASA and the European Space Agency have reached an agreement on cooperation for the upcoming lunar missions. The International Astronautical Congress's joint declaration on lunar cooperative operations was signed by NASA Administrator Bill Nelson and ESA Director General Josef Aschbacher. The memorandum hopes to pave the way for more European participation in the NASA-led Artemis missions. This agreement means we can look forward to NASA and ESA cooperation on human spaceflight programs, such as the International Space Station. Not only that, but ESA is set to provide a European service module for the Orion capsule. The Lunar Gateway's iHave habitation module and eSpirit refueling element are being built by ESA in addition to providing the Orion service module. Later on, 3 ESA astronauts will most likely be joining the Artemis missions. The ESA is hoping that such initiatives will be included into the larger Artemis lunar exploration campaign, offering NASA services in exchange for more seats on Artemis's missions, which may include having a European astronaut make a moonwalk. That's a wrap for this video. What are your thoughts on Starlink's latest achievement? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.